We're back. Two teammates. Oh, I went too loud, but sorry.
It's okay. You got to apologize to the audience.
Sorry, people. But I'm excited because me, Ethan, and Ryan are on the same baseball team.
Yes, baseball is back in the MLB, which is big. I want to talk about that because the Jays are first in the division. But I don't know if we've ever talked about. Have we talked about this on the pod? Like our baseball league?
No, because when we started it, our season was over last year.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So to paint the picture, we are on. We play U18 baseball, and this is our final year. And last year, me and Ryan got to play together. Cody got put on the other team. But this
Sad.
year, the Pirates sail together.
Yeah.
Because we're the Strathcona Pirates, which is awesome. And I'm surprised. I was telling you this a little bit before, but I'm surprised that they didn't like split us up because all of us are overagers. Like I'm surprised they didn't like make it like 2-1.
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, here's
like
the thing.
we're not that good.
Yeah, I was just about to say like not to like diss you, me, and Ryan, but like just the okay at baseball.
We're probably gonna be just as good as everyone else.
Like you and Ryan's first years were last year.
I feel like I'll be better this year though than last year, just because I know what to expect.
A year of training.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just kind of bad every year. Like I'm a demon in the field.
Me and Ethan are gonna pitch.
Hopefully,
We're gonna do
the 1-2 punch, the Robbie. The 1-2 punch out of the bullpen.
Hopefully we have lots of pitchers. Because what if he's like, Cody, you're starting?
Here's the thing. If we have a lot of pitchers, then we might not pitch.
Well, we only have 12 players. We're going to get a lot of playing time.
Don't we usually? Isn't that like normal? Like I feel like 12 is pretty standard.
I think last year my team had like 15 or 16 guys.
You know what? I think 12 was standard before last year.
Because there were times last year where we were missing like 5 guys and we were still able to play. Like this year, like you need 9 guys to play.
I think we have a good cushion. The thing with mine and Ryan's team last year is we had like everyone on our team was a pitcher. So like there wasn't a lot to go around.
My team didn't have enough pitchers.
We had all the pitchers, and I remember at the start of the season when Ryan was like, I'm gonna tell coach that I don't want to hit. Just put me in the field.
Just put me in the field, please.
I'm actually surprised that Ryan signed up again. Like
I'm not.
Because I thought there was points last year when you could tell that he was having fun hanging out with his friends, but he didn't really care about baseball. But now I think he's like actually getting into it.
Well, you have to remember, like last year was his like first time like getting like involved with baseball. Period.
Now he's watching games.
Like I was at least a fan before last year.
That's true, and like he's actually like watching Blue Jay games now, which is
good.
Like,
buddy bandwagon.
Yeah, I was kind of like my first. I don't know. Have I ever told you my first baseball game I ever watched?
Mine was the Bautista bat flip.
The first game you ever watched?
Oh no,
that's the first game.
Sorry, that was
watched.
the first season I watched.
That's the first game I ever watched was the bat flip game.
Holy crap!
And I remember when he bat flipped, I just thought that was normal. Like I didn't think like that was like something that didn't happen. Wasn't there like if I remember, I don't remember if this was the same game, but remember when Sam Dyson like slapped Troy Tulowitzki's ass and he was and, like the benches like they erupted?
No, I do not remember that.
I think that was the same game.
I remember when Odor punched Bautista.
that was the next year.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was I didn't like it at the time because I was a Blue Jays fan. I still am a Blue Jays fan. But that was like a swift punch.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like holy shit, dude. I still don't like rooting at Odor.
Neither do I. That guy's a bum.
It's on the Orioles now.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Still in the division.
No offense, Roofnid.
Remember last year when he called time and then the ump awarded him time late and it was as the pitch was coming and then he swung and he hit a home run but it didn't count because he called time.
I do remember that. And he was
there's something about when players you dislike when they give the like what thing, like Tom Wilson did it a few weeks ago against the Leafs. And when they just throw it, like, what? That always makes me laugh. Like, I think it's stupid. Like, Root Ned.
Yeah, I don't like Roofned. I don't mind Tom.
I don't mind Tom. I just think Tom's like a big idiot. Like,
Nice.
oh, am I wrong? Like, Tom Wilson, the play that I'm talking about is he fucking bulldozed Jack Campbell, and then he got a goalie interference penalty, and
He's a big idiot.
Yeah, he was
driving the net.
He wasn't even driving. He was going behind the net, and he took him out.
Tom.
And then he got a goalie interference penalty because he fucking bulldozed the goalie, and he was on the bench like, eh? And then he chirped bunting, and I was like, I fucking hate you.
Oh, MB. That guy's like Nick.
Yeah, the guy at the Oiler game, we went to the Oiler, like me and Ryan went to the Oiler game. Cody went to the Oiler game, Oiler Leaf game too.
I was with someone else.
Still went to the game.
I was still at the game though.
But this drunk guy who was sitting in front of us, he was drunk before the anthems even started. I'm surprised he could drink that much that quick. But I remember he turned around, he saw I had a Bunting jersey, and he's like, "Fucking Nick Bunting." And I was
his
like,
name's Michael.
yeah, I was like, yeah, Michael Bunting's pretty good. He's like, Michael? I think he confused the Baconator.
Yeah. Nick Ritchie.
Isn't
doing pretty good on the Yotes.
Isn't he on like a tear?
Yeah.
Let's search it up.
He's been one of their best players recently. He scored their one goal against Calgary.
When was that? Oh, was that the 9-2 game?
9-1.
Holy shit. Oh, he's got 10 goals in 24 games.
Yeah.
Someone's got
He's actually been pretty good with the Yotes.
Let's play a game called What's Baconator on pace for 82 games with the Yotes. Do you want to guess?
No. And Nathan Smith scored his first NHL goal, which was sick.
Shout
Last
out.
night.
Who did they acquire him from?
Winnipeg. He was in the Brian Little deal. Because they took on his contract.
I hate those trades. It's just more examples that the salary cap system is bad.
I know it is.
And the salary cap's in place to make quote unquote parity, but there's no parity in the league with the current structure. But that's a topic for a different time. I want you to guess the Nick Ritchie goal pace over 82 games with the Yotes.
How many does he have right now?
10 and 24.
Well, it's got to be like 30.
Is that your guess?
Sure.
34.
Yeah.
The Baconator.
Holy crap.
His career high is 15. Nick Ritchie is.
Oh, wow. He's actually been really good with the Coyotes then.
He's been
Holy
amazing
crap.
with the Yotes. His career high is 15 with the Bruins last year. And Nick Ritchie's just kind of a mediocre player. 10th overall pick, too.
Eliminated the Oilers.
I remember that game because I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but back when the Oilers made the playoffs back in 16, 17, it was one of those years. For the away games, they'd have like watch parties at Rogers. And I remember I was at the one for the Game 7 against Anaheim, and it was a quiet ride home.
I would have been hyped.
I think Ritchie scored. Did Cogliani score?
I don't remember who scored first for Anaheim, but I remember Kajula scored for Edmonton.
Drake Kajula. I used to really like Drake Kajula.
Because I remember it was a really bad goal. It like bounced weirdly off the boards and came out in front, and like Gibson didn't know where it was, and Kajula somehow poked it home, and my mom was like, "Where is it? Is it in?" She's like, "Yeah!" She's like, "Kajula!" And I'm like, "Oh."
I used to really like Drake Kajula.
When he broke his stick on that breakaway in the playoffs.
What game was that? I might have been at that game.
I think it was
I wasn't at that game.
I think it was against Anaheim. But I remember it snapped like in two on the breakaway.
I remember. I just don't remember.
You could read his lips, and he was swearing.
That's one of my favorite things. And that's one thing I miss about when the now that there's fans in the building is you can't really hear the players just saying. Well, you can hear it. Did you hear what happened to the Ottawa-Seattle game?
Yeah, I saw it. He's like, "Stutzel, you effing."
P word.
P word. He's like, go flop again.
One of my favorites was I think it was the gold medal game in the World Juniors last year, and it was Connor Zari.
One of my favorite prospects.
Like, that's fucking horse shit or something.
He's like, oh yeah. He's like, that's fucking horse shit. He's like, it's right there.
It gets picked, like, hot mics get picked up a lot at the Leaf games, and I remember once I was legally streaming it on my computer, and I don't remember who they were playing, but I remember Jake Muzzin was on the ice, and then someone was like,
it was against Buffalo. Wait,
was it? It's what I don't know if this was this year. It was either this year or last year, but
what does the guy say again?
I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of Muzzin, you slow fuck.
Oh no, I remember this year. It was on your birthday when we were watching that Buffalo Leafs game, and some guy was like, F you, Muzzy. And you picked it up clear as day.
One of the ones that's my favorite that didn't get picked up on mic, but you could just read his lips, it was on your birthday when we watched that Toronto-Montreal game, and it was when Kasperi Kapanen broke his stick and he threw it at Jeff Petrie, causing him to get a penalty shot because it zoomed in on Max Domi.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
He leans over, and you can't hear what he says, but he clearly mouths, "Attaboy, Cappy, you fucking idiot." And it's like clear as day. You can read his words. "Attaboy, Cappy, you fucking idiot." Noted Carolina Hurricane Max Domi.
Yeah, there was another one I was just thinking of.
We're going to the Oil King game tonight, and hopefully
we're hyped.
Hopefully we hear some
playoff opener.
Some playoff opener chirps.
Their beacon.
So the Oil Kings are starting it's game one of the playoffs. They're playing Lethbridge. They're going. I don't remember it's like Ed Chenoweth Cup or something.
I don't know.
I searched it up today for writing reports, but I don't remember. It's Ed Chenoweth Cup, I think. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that's what they're competing for. Last time they won it was 2014 against Portland. I didn't realize how dominant those Portland teams were back then.
Ty Ratty was on that team, I'm pretty sure.
Ty Ratty, Dumba, Chase DeLeo. I remember that name.
Oh my gosh.
Who else? Paul Bittner, second round pick that never made the
Paul
NHL.
Bittner is.
The second round pick by Columbus never made the NHL. But they made 4 straight finals, and they lost 3 of them. Oil Kings beat them 2 times. They lost the 1 time. I remember once me and my dad went to a finals game, and then after the game, I don't think they lost the cup, but I remember the Oil Kings lost the game, and we were driving home, and my dad was like, "You want to get some?" He was like, "You want to get some cheeseburgers to ease the pain or something?" And then we went to McDonald's and we got like 2 cheeseburgers or something. I don't think he said to ease the pain, but we got cheeseburgers to help with the sorrows.
The last Oil King playoff game I went to was the conference finals with Preston in grade 10, and it was against Noah Gregor and the Prince Albert Raiders. And I remember Alexei Protas scored a hat trick and popped a bottle.
He's in the
sick.
NHL now.
AHL.
He played some games in the CHL. I think he scored a couple goals.
Yeah, he did. He got sent down. Poor Alexei.
Isn't he like 6'7"?
Yeah, he's huge.
Big guy. I haven't been to a playoff game since 13-14. Like, I don't think I went to them. No, I'm actually really excited. Like, we haven't... I think I've only been to 2 games this year. Went to the Prince Albert one, went to the Brandon one. I think that's the only ones that you and me went to.
I went to a couple more. So I saw the 2 games against Regina for Bedard.
Regina.
And
he set a record.
Yeah, that was cool. He's the only 16-year-old, I think, to score 50 goals, wasn't it?
I think so. He has more. I think wasn't it like he tied McDavid's points from when he was 16.
Yeah.
So I guess just be named Connor, and you'll be sick. I don't know what his exact stats are, but he's pretty good at hockey. Like, he's not bad.
He had 51 goals and 49 assists.
And he's 16.
Like, it was like exactly 100 points, because I remember I watched the highlights and it was an empty netter, and the announcer was like, "There's 100 points."
100 points, 51 goals, 49 assists in 62 games.
Oh, it's good.
I saw when he tied I think it was McDavid's points at the same age, and I saw he did it in 5 more games, and I saw some people like bitching in the comments like, you can't compare him. He did it in 5 more games. I'm like, he's got 30 more goals.
Yeah.
Some people are stupid. He's gonna be really good. Isn't his draft year like 2 years from now?
Next year. Like, not this coming draft, but the one after.
It's gonna be a great yote.
Yotes. Please. Please.
Dude.
They get right this year. Dude, could you imagine having Bedard, Gunther right?
They'll look great in Houston.
Yeah. Dude, that 3,000 fan arena will be packed.
Did you see the prices on those tickets?
Yeah, they're expensive.
Holy shit. I don't have the exact numbers, but they're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
For
the Coyotes.
Yeah, I'm like thinking, because you and me are both college students. I can't afford that shit on a college budget.
Yeah, neither can I.
I could afford it if the Coyotes were a cup-winning team. I could justify it, but I'm not going to spend that money to watch maybe Travis Boyd one game.
Like when I go to like the only Oiler game that I'll ever spend like a decent amount of money on is against the Flames. Like any other game I go to, like I just wait for the games that like ticket prices are like under $50 because that's a steal.
That's I think the same way. I'll spend whatever on Leaf tickets.
Yeah.
And I've only been to 2 games this year. Like I went to the Leaf game, and I went to the Florida game, and we got the Florida tickets for like $40.
Yeah, because I thought I was gonna go to that game, but I had school, so that sucks.
I would
made me mad.
I'd do it again because especially like game day of game tickets, they always drop like half price.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people, like me and Mucky were talking about this yesterday, and he was telling me about one of his friends who will like buy tickets midway through the game and just go because they're like $10, but I don't want to miss half the game.
Yeah,
like that's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend the extra $30
to see the whole game,
to watch the entire game.
Yeah.
Like, how many games are even left? There's like 6 games.
Yeah,
I don't think we can go to another one.
They play Colorado tomorrow, but those will be expensive because it's Colorado.
Is it in Edmonton?
Yeah, but like because they were here not that long ago, and I checked like day of ticket prices, and they were like $180.
Oh, I bet it's gonna be like ridiculous.
Yeah, because it's Colorado.
Yeah, that's for the bigger, like better teams and bigger markets. They always up the prices. Florida was really cheap because it's Florida. Like they're a great team, but like Florida.
Yeah.
Calgary's always like how much did you pay for Calgary tickets when you bought those tickets?
It was just over 100, but those were like the cheapest ones.
That's the one thing that's sucks about probably being like a Flames fan is every time they come to town, it's like insane. Yeah. You got to see 2 Battle of Alberta games. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. 3 if you count the preseason one, but that was preseason.
I'd only count it if Lucic scored, but it didn't count.
Yeah, that sucks. But that game in Calgary was hyped.
I missed it. I didn't get to watch it because I was working.
It was the best game I've ever and most likely possibly will ever go to.
No, I remember I was standing at the podium because I work at a movie theater, and I was ripping tickets that night, and I was standing at the podium. I had my phone in my pocket. I just felt it buzz like every 2 minutes, and
you're mid-rip. You're like, wait. You're like, oh my God, Fear the Beard scored.
Yeah, I put my hand out in front. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, don't move. They're like, why? I'm like, Fear the Beard.
I should have worn that shirt. I'd love that shirt. It just so happens, ever since I bought that Dubé Fear the Beard shirt, he's kind of been on a tear. Just saying. He scored the day I bought that shirt. I love the Dubes.
Is he having a good season?
No, not until I bought that shirt.
I haven't even thought about the Dubes.
He's gone off since I got that shirt.
Let's take a look at his stats. Dylan Dubé. I want to talk about the Flames. We
always talk about the Flames.
Of course, he's got a good beard.
Fear the Beard.
He has career highs in goals and points, Cody.
That wasn't until recently, though. Like, he's been scoring lots. I think he's scored in like 3 straight games.
I didn't realize that the Dubes like actually was kind of just like a depth player.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was like in my mind, like we always talked about the Dubes and how you always loved him, and I never really looked at his stats. I always thought he was like really good. I'm not saying he's bad, but like career high
he's just
14
a solid,
goals,
like third liner.
28 points,
Like, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but
2 World Juniors. Ooh,
he was the captain. They won.
18.
Yeah, that was the year that Steenbergen scored that hype goal.
Yote legend, right?
Yep.
Steenbergen's a Yote legend.
Yep.
I do want to talk about the Flames, though. I also want to eventually. I talked about this a couple days ago. I want to talk about with you. I want to get your opinion on the Matt Barzal fine because we got different opinions on it. But I want to talk about the Flames first. And obviously, we know they're having an amazing year. They're first. I don't know how many points they have. I think they're close to what 100.
They're over 100.
When?
Last week,
Holy shit!
I think they're like at 100 or 304.
304.
No, 103 or 104. Sorry, not 300.
Is that even? I don't even think that's.
I doubt it.
They're at 104, 47 wins. And obviously they're having a great year. But with a great team performance comes great individual performances. And we know the Kachuk, Goudreau, Lindholm line is insane.
Yeah.
But the issue with that, we know the issue, right?
Yes.
What's the issue?
You got to sign Kachuk, Goudreau, and Breadman and Shillington.
I got every player that they have expiring right here. They got Kachuk, Goudreau, Mangiapane, Yarncroke, Carpenter, Ritchie, Ruzicka, Lewis, Zadorov, Gudbranson, Stone, Shillington. Obviously, 80% of the players I just listed aren't factors.
Yeah.
But they're still depth. They're still players that you have to replace. And even if they make $800K, that's still $800K you have to put in to the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted, because right now they couldn't re-sign all those players because you got to think everyone's going to get like a raise.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think, especially those big. I don't know. Is Shillington
Zadorov won't get a raise.
Oh, not Zadorov.
Yeah. Or do you mean just a big three?
I was talking
and Shillington,
Goudreau, Goudreau, Kachuk, and Mangiapane. And you'd also think if they want to re-sign Yarncroke, he's going to get a raise because he makes like $1 million.
Yarncroke hasn't scored.
He's still a good player, though.
I guess.
I don't.
I'll give him that. I've watched the Flames obviously, and he's still a good player. He hit the post last game. So
here's the thing with Yarncroke is I think he's a great player, and I think it's a good trade. I just don't think it's a good trade for the Flames because I don't think he fits their system. Like the Daryl Sutter system is what rough and tough.
Yeah, people said Johnny Hockey wouldn't fit that system.
I don't think he fits the system. I think he's the outlier.
I guess.
And I also think those are two different situations just because Goudreau is so much better, right?
Yeah.
But back to the point, I don't think you can re-sign all those players. Zadorov's 3.75, crazy contract. I don't know how Brad gave him that. That's going to come off. Goodbranson's 2 is going to come off. And who does that cover? Mangiapane maybe, and a little bit of one of the other two. The point is they're all going to get raises, and I don't think you can keep them all under the structure they have now.
Well,
as a Flames fan, I want you to give me your opinion. What would you do to fix the cap situation, or do you just bite the bullet and lose one of those players?
Well, Monahan will be gone. Like, no question. Monahan will be gone.
How do you think he'll go? Buyout or trade? Because how do you trade that unless you give up something big?
That's a good question. Like, I don't know, but Monahan will not be with the Flames next year.
I agree.
Because his time, like, I don't even know if that guy should still be playing. That guy's had like 5 surgeries in like 4 years.
injuries has been a big issue. Like I think, what is he? After this, he has 1 year left.
Yeah, the guy's only 27. Like, he should be in his prime. Could you imagine if he was an 80-point player?
He was.
Could you imagine how? No, like this year.
Oh,
Could you imagine how good, even better, the Flames would be?
well, I think that solves all your issues, right? Like, I don't think you have to make the Yarncroke trade if that's the thing. Like, the thing with Sean Monahan's always been
Shanahan.
Mon Shanahan. The thing with him has always been, is he a first line center on a cup winning team? I feel the same way about players like Mark Scheifele. I don't think Mark Scheifele's and this is my opinion, I don't think Mark Scheifele's I think he's a first line center in this league. I don't think he wins a cup as your first line center.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Mike, our friend. I don't think he listens, but he's a big Jets fan.
No, Mike doesn't listen.
I felt the same way about Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson. I don't know. I haven't really looked at Johansson much, but Duchene's got 40 goals this year.
Yeah.
He's really turned it around. But that's how I've always felt about Monahan. And I also didn't realize when prepping this that he only, after this year, he has 1 year left. So I guess it makes it easier to move that deal, right?
Yeah.
The buyout wouldn't be bad either. Like I didn't think he had one. I thought he had I thought he had term. So I guess the question it becomes less complicated because I'm sure Arizona can.
Oh yeah, like they took Brian Little.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I think like a team that has a lot of money would be willing to make the bet on Sean Monahan. Like, it's a little different for Lucic because he's older and he's been worse for longer.
Yeah.
But how long ago was Sean Monahan a point a game player?
3 years ago.
Someone will take a risk.
Yeah.
Someone will take a flyer on that for 1 year.
Yeah.
The other option is, as I just mentioned, Lucic, who's going into his final year. But do you want to trade the heart and soul of your team?
I'm gonna be brutally honest. I don't know if I want the Flames to trade Misyk unless they absolutely have to keep those guys.
That might be the worst take you've ever had.
I don't know if you understand how much I love Luch.
Do you love him because we joke about him, or do you love him because of his play?
Everything.
He hasn't had a horrible year. He makes over $5 million.
I know. And I also love chanting Luch at Flames games.
You can still chant Luch.
I don't want to chant that though when he's playing for Arizona. That's lame. The Flames are awesome. But unfortunately, I love those other three guys more than Misyk, so.
Who has more points this year, Dubé or Lucic?
Ooh. That's got to be close.
It is.
I'm going to go with Luch.
It's Dubé, but it's by 8. It's 28-20.
Oh, really? Misyk only has 20 points?
10 goals, 10 assists.
Okay, maybe trade him.
In like 70 games, I think.
Okay, maybe trade him. He's better than
77? He matched his high. Milan Lucic hasn't scored more than 10 goals in a season in 5 years.
Misyk.
I'm looking at this. 82 games, 10 goals. 79 games, 6 goals. Traded to the Flames. 68 games, 8 goals. To be fair to Lucic, he would have hit it last year.
Yeah.
He scored 10 in 56, and this year in 77 he has 10. So he's got a few games to do it. Iron Man Milan Lucic.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed a game in 2 years.
Okay, maybe trade Luch, but I don't know if Brad would do that.
I don't love Brad as a GM. I know he's put together a top 5 team standings wise and a first place team in his division, but I don't love how he's built the team.
How so? Like, what do you mean?
I think depth wise, I think the Flames lack. I think skill on the back end they lack a lot.
Yeah, they're rough and tough.
I think they have the Flames remind me a lot of the Montreal Canadiens from last year, but a better version, if that makes sense. Like, they kind of lack other than like the top ends, like they have their first line's insane. I'll give the
Yeah.
Flames that. But they have the rough and tough style, and they lack the pure skill in the bottom half of their lineup.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like Coleman, Dubé, and like Backlund are three guys that they like will need to step up. In the
Backlund's another
playoffs.
one you could trade.
Yeah, he's got a couple of years though, but still,
2 years after this one.
Backlund's also not well.
It's not bad. I think he's a good player, but
Not in the shootouts. Oh my goodness gracious me!
is he bad?
Last shootout attempt, he didn't get a shot on net. He didn't get a shot. He whiffed on it.
You know,
And Daryl was.
you know who else didn't get a shot? Jason. That game, I was at
Oh man.
the. For people who don't know, I was at an Oiler Dallas Star game a few years ago that went to the shootout. First of all, McDavid scored a goal between the legs that I didn't see live because fucking our friend Michael wanted to get nachos
During the game.
mid play, so we went to go get nachos, and McDavid scores a through the legs goal, and his car got declined and didn't even get the nachos. So we missed it for
Mike.
nothing. Like we didn't even get to enjoy nachos after that. We missed the
You just
goal.
got to sit there and be like, that seriously just happened and we missed it.
I do remember it was us and two other randos, maybe it was three other randos in the hallway, and he scored the goal, and me and this random guy went, "Oh!" and we high-fived.
You're like, we didn't see it, but oh!
Well, we saw it we didn't see it live, but we saw it on the fucking, like, the replay TVs.
That's like Hump with the Yakupov.
I still
He's-
can't believe him. My dad
like,
missed that too.
He's like, I didn't see it, but I saw it on the replay TV.
To be fair, I do chirp whom for that, but my dad did the same thing because he left to not get stuck in traffic. Then he missed the goal. I want to get back to the Flames, but the Florida game I went to earlier this year, Oilers got smoked, and I remember they gave up a goal as I was leaving on the escalator, and then by the time I got back to my car, I think they'd given up 2 more goals.
Oh boy.
Like it was insane. But back to the Flames. It's gonna be tough to sign all those players. Shillington's a RFA, Kachuk's an RFA, but the thing with Kachuk is his qualifying offer just to qualify him, it's $10 million.
Really?
I think it's a little over, but it's just to give him a qualifying. So you got to think Kachuk's at least making $10 million if he's with the Flames, because they have to qualify him. Because if they don't qualify him, then he's unrestricted, unless they get it done before.
Oh my god.
And Goudreau, he's got 100 points this year. Isn't it more?
Yeah, he's third in the league.
He's gonna get a fat contract.
I know. He's got more points than Draisaitl.
He's got more points than Leon.
Yeah.
I want to get that. I want to get to Leon later in the show
It's McDavid, Huberdeau, Goudreau, Leon right now.
because Leon Draisaitl is not better than Austin Matthews. He's 108 points in 77 games. He'll probably score 40 goals.
Yeah. I think he's at 39.
38.
Oh.
38.
Kachuk's at 39, sorry.
38 goals, 108 points. He makes $6.75 million right now. I understand that the cap stopped going up because of COVID, and it's going to go up $1 million this year. But you see some of the contracts like players were getting paid before. I think a comparable to Johnny Gaudreau at 28 would be like Artemi Panarin. And how much does he make? Like 11.6?
Yeah.
Like realistically, that's between Kachuk and Gaudreau, that's almost $22 million. That's more than $22 million, I think.
That's a lot of money.
And that's disregarding Mangiapane. That's disregarding Shillington. That's disregarding the depth you have to replace in Carpenter, Yarncroke, Ritchie, Ruzicka, Lewis. I don't think a good Branson or Zadorov will make the same money. So
Oh,
you save
God,
a little
no.
bit. I hope not.
No.
I didn't think they'd make that in the first place.
Oh, yeah, next year. God, no, they won't be making that. At least not with Calgary.
But you have to. That's the thing is you have to replace these players somehow, and I don't think it unless they can move Mon Shanahan and Lucic. I think ideally you move both because you also have to think then you have to replace Monahan. I understand Monahan hasn't been good this year, but he's still. I think he's still valuable to some people, and what has he played like fourth line minutes this?
Yeah.
Like
and I don't mean to be rude to Lucic, but you could find another fourth liner who's most likely better.
10 minutes ago, you were telling me how much you love Lucic.
I do. It's Luch.
Who's better than Luch? McDavid? Nah.
Name some fourth liners.
Wayne Simmons.
I'm taking Luch.
I'm taking Luch too. Nick Abruzzese.
I don't even know who that is.
He's played 6 games for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's got 0 points.
Yep.
His advanced stats aren't bad. I was looking at him today. But I think it's a very interesting, and it not that you regret the things that they've done, but do you go out and make the Coleman signing? Do you make the Toffoli trade?
I
In
like
hindsight, if they this is hypothetically, if they lose those players, do you regret those moves?
I'd regret the Coleman signing more than the Foley trade.
How's Coleman been this year? That's a big contract, and he's 30.
Meh.
Makes almost
He's
five.
probably been a little. He's been disappointing overall, but he had a pretty good game against Chicago.
His contract goes till 26-27.
I know.
He'll be like 36.
Yep.
That's
Well,
Coleman's a
whatever
good player.
Gaudreau gets signed for, like, that'll be till he's 38.
different players.
Yeah, I know.
If you had to lose, I'm going to take Mangiapane out of this contract, but if you had to lose one of those two players, who are you picking? Who's less valuable to you?
Gaudreau or Kachuk?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Hard-hitting questions on the Misyk and Maat Sports Talk podcast.
That's really tough. Because I think Gaudreau is the heart of the team.
I was actually going to say the complete opposite. I was going to say Kachuk's the heart of the team. Like, I think it's obviously the I want you to keep thinking about that because I do want your answer. But it's a different conversation now because they have 108 points and they're a first-place hockey team. But going into the season, it was definitely a big question of what are the Flames, and if they were bad again, you'd have to trade the core and pick what route you were going to go down. Like, I think if they were bad again, you would have to pick between Gaudreau and Kachuk and Monahan. I think before the season was in that question of who you want to build the team around. And I've always been on the beat the Kachuk drum because I think he's younger. I think he's not just as good. I think they're different players, but I think he's a great player. And I think that's...
And Kachuk's like not even in his prime yet.
He's 24.
Yeah.
That's crazy that he's already 24.
Yeah, I know. He's already played like 400 games.
That was 2016 when he was drafted. Olli Juolevi, pick before him. It's a horrible pick.
So was Puljujärvi.
Pierre-Luc Dubois, Patty Laine, some guy named Austin Matthews.
That was a good pick for Calgary.
That was a great pick.
Tyson Jost, Logan Brown, Michael McLeod.
Michael McLeod is not a good player, but Michael McLeod's sick and chill. He always grows to like a really solid like third liner.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I do.
Obviously.
Because I always pick him up. But Who would you? I was kind of doing like the. I don't know if the mic picked it up, but I kind of did the lip smack right
Oh my
there.
God, no.
What's your who? Would you? If you had to keep one of them, who are you picking? It's a tough one. And you also
Considering all factors, I think you go with Kachuk.
you also have to think about what's the risk of signing this player, because it's also like how much of Kachuk's success and vice versa to Goudreau is up because of the other guy.
That's what I meant. Like, I think Goudreau is a bigger part of Kachuk's success than Kachuk to Goudreau.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think, not to say that Matt Kachuk doesn't drive play, but Johnny Gaudreau is clearly the play driver on that line, to me at least.
Yeah.
And that's not like Kachuk's fault. Like his role is to, it's not to carry the offense on that line, right?
Huh? Sorry, I zoned out.
We were doing so good.
Sorry. Jeez. Punch the desk.
I
Sorry.
break the desk. I'm like, fuck, Cody. What did I say? Oh, I feel like Kachuk's game on that line, his role on that line isn't to drive the offense. I think that's more on Goudreau, and I think a little bit less on Lindholm.
Elias.
Yeah. That's not taken away from Kachuk's game. I think he's a great player, but I that's just not his role on the line. And it's going to be interesting if they can't keep them both. Who falls back, or do they continue the success? Because that can happen.
Yeah.
Like an example of a player who had a really good year last year and continued the success on to this year is Kevin Gausman with the Blue Jays. And that's
Are we switching topics now?
unless you have more.
No. Okay.
Because I was going to say professional topic switch by me. What a transition. What a segue.
Oh, I guess.
Did you not hear how awesome that was? Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. We actually don't get a lot of YouTube listeners.
Well, yeah, because it's YouTube.
Most of them are Apple Podcasts now.
Because it's Apple Podcast, buddy.
It's professional. Switching topics.
Okay.
Kevin Gausman.
No.
Well, the nice thing about recording these, like we started recording at like 4:30-ish.
420. Because I remember you went, oh.
4:20 because it's the weed number, and that was yesterday, 4:20, April 20th. A big, what was I going to say? I kind of lost track. Oh, yeah, the nice part of, let's just end the show. Just kidding. No, what was I going to say? I lost my...
You were talking about Kevin Gausman.
Oh, yes, and the nice part about recording, like we started at 4:20 today, is that the Blue Jays games that start in the afternoon are just over. So we got to watch Kevin Gausman dice up the Red Sox, and then we get to talk about it.
That was sick.
I got it here. He went. Sorry, I didn't have it there.
I'm sorry.
Do I have it here?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yes, I do. He went 8 innings. He gave up 1 run, 0 walks, and had 8 Ks. He had the run he gave up wasn't even when he was pitching. It was when Romano was pitching.
Yeah.
It's just he is runner left on base. I was also shitting bricks because the Blue Jays won this game 3-2. They improved to 7-5 on the season, but they had a 3-0 lead going into the 9th, and wasn't it 2 runners in scoring position, 3-1, no outs.
Yep.
I thought they were gonna fucking blow that
So
game.
did I.
I
wasn't watching, but I saw on my phone, and it was
Same.
0 outs, guys on third and second. I'm like, they're gonna choke.
No, and then I put my phone away and just crossed my fingers, and little do you know, Jordan Romano, the Canadian, pulls through with the save. What a great pickup. I don't know how Robbie Ray's been doing, but I know Kevin Gausman's been fucking dealing this year.
Yeah.
Great pitcher. He's got the dirty split finger, the Teague special.
Teagues.
What a great player. And the Blue Jays, 7-5 doesn't blow me away, but first in the division does.
Yeah.
And especially
It's a tough
in
division.
such a tough division. Like, I tweeted this out a couple weeks ago, and you liked it too. It was about the Boston Red Sox, and I said something along the lines of, is it plausible that the Boston Red Sox are a top 10 team in the entire league, but second worst in the American League East?
That's insane to think about.
It's insane that at minimum one of those 4 teams will miss the playoffs. Because there can only be 2 wild card teams, and I think playoffs should probably. I think a lot of the playoff formats in sports are wrong. I don't love the baseball one. I think we've talked about that before. I don't love the baseball one because I too many teams miss out. I think, and I think the competitive balance is off. But at least one of those 4 teams, Toronto, Boston, New York, and Tampa, is going to miss the playoffs. And that's assuming that teams like the Angels, the Mariners, the Astros don't sneak into wild card spots.
Yeah.
The Guardians kind of suck. I don't know who else is in that division. Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City,
Oakland.
Oakland. Holy sh- Oakland's bad.
Yeah, I know.
Oakland
blew it up.
Oakland on paper sucks, but I think they're actually their record's not too far from the Jays, I don't think.
Yeah, when I was watching the Jays against Oakland, like for the start of the season, like Oakland had been the team that scored the most runs.
They're gonna
Kevin
fall
Smith,
down.
baby.
I
like Kevin Smith.
I don't really have I don't I don't have an opinion on Kevin Smith.
I just looked at him and said I like that guy.
Not
one of my favorite players. But
was
I
it when
like
he
him.
was on the Jays or the A's?
Both. Well, to be fair, the first time I saw him was on the Jays, and I was like, I like this guy. But I like Matt Chapman more.
What's your opinion on Matt Chapman? Are you underwhelmed?
What do you mean?
Looking at how Matt Chapman has performed, I don't have anything prepped on this, so I don't have stats to base it off of. But Matt Chapman's, especially after the injuries, have always been this past couple of years an underwhelming hitter.
Yeah.
Did you expect more, or
Hitting wise?
Just in general? Hitting is probably mainly what you focus on because he's a world class fielder. Like, I'll never take that away from him. But I think you can't blame him for injuries he's had. But Matt Chapman used to be. There was a point in time where I think you could argue Matt Chapman was a top 5 player in baseball.
Yeah.
And he's not at that point anymore. I'd love to see him get his swing back on track and get back into it.
Still think he's a great player.
Who's an amazing player.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's a world class fielder. Hitting wise, a little underwhelming, but on a Jays team that's so healthy, I don't think you need Matt Chapman to be world class hitting. Like, I think if Oakland ever wanted any success, especially in the past, they would need the Olsen. They would need Chapman to step up.
Yeah.
Semien, I've kind of forgot Semien was a Rangers. How a horrible start to the season, by the way.
Yeah. Wasn't Semien hitting like under 100?
Oh, I don't doubt it. Good for him for getting his money, but I saw someone make a TikTok where they used. Have you listened to the 21 Savage album, Snitches and Rats?
No.
Well, they have an interlude between songs where they got Morgan Freeman talking, and he's like, the difference between a snitch and a rat, and they put that audio on like clips of Marcus Semien, and I was thinking, why the fuck you call him Marcus Semien a rat? He played one season with the Jays,
and that was just like a contract season.
And he went out and got his money.
That's what anyone else would have done.
If he was a longtime Jay, I would be a little bit like, I remember when Edwin Encarnacion left for Cleveland. I didn't like Edwin for like the whole year. I was also a lot younger then.
Edwin.
like looking back at it now, it's like, oh yeah, Edwin did great things for the team, and he really grew that franchise. But I remember when he left, I was like, fuck you, Edwin. I'm like, you joined the bad guys. Then they brought in Kendrys Morales,
Oh shit!
switch hitting god.
Never forget my first ever Blue Jay game I was at. Morales hit a double into right field, and me and my cousin were yelling at him to run because he was so insanely slow, and he like just barely made it into second.
Remember that video of Michael Pineda?
Yep. He's not even in the frame, and they're like, oh.
Yeah, there's a video of Michael Pineda batting, and he hits a. He hits a. Unless I'm quoting the video wrong, I'm pretty sure he hits a weak ground ball that could be beaten out by a guy with speed.
Yeah.
And in your mind, you're naturally like, oh, this is gonna be a close play, and then the camera pans to the guy throwing it to first, and he's not even in screen.
You're
That's
like, oh,
how
he already
slow
passed.
No, he's so slow.
I know.
Michael Pineda, noted for getting suspended with the Yankees for using pine tar. It's a
Yeah.
long time ago. That's the first. That's when I was. I don't remember how long ago that was, but I remember that's when I first started to discover what like pine tar and shit was. Was that clip from Michael Pineda getting his neck checked
Michael.
for substances? What were we talking about? We were talking about Matt Chapman.
Yep.
I don't think you need Matt Chapman to carry your offense because you have so many great players.
No, I think opening day he was batting like 7th.
And I don't think you need him to bat any higher. Like healthy.
Yeah.
Raimel Tapia is not a great hitter. He threw someone out today. I think he
Yeah, I
threw a
saw
Renfro
that.
today. I think that was.
No, Vasquez.
Vasquez?
Vasquez.
Who does Renfro play for? Not for the Red Sox.
He did last year.
Not anymore. I think they traded him.
Oh. I don't remember who.
He plays somewhere that's not Boston. Tavia's not a great hitter. Springer, he's always hurt.
I know.
That's the thing that sucks.
Milwaukee. Renfro.
Yes, Milwaukee. Springer's a good hitter. Hernandez, great hitter. Horrible
Hurt.
fielder. Hurt. Gurriel, solid hitter. Not amazing.
He's got a good arm.
He's got a great arm. He's not a bad hitter. Chapman, meh. Bichette, great hitter. Horrible fielder.
And a bad start to the season. Hitting wise. He's hitting 204.
He'll turn it around. I think you're probably looking at 30 bombs for Bichette.
He was actually doing pretty good until yesterday, where he had 2 errors. He hadn't made an error yet, and then he had 2 yesterday.
Led the league last year. That's bad. I think like it's pretty conceivable that Bo Bichette's a 30-30 guy, like a 30 home run, 30 stolen base guy, and I think the RBIs. I don't think you can really go out there and be like, oh, I expect him to do this, because I think that's for Vlad to eat up. I got written down here that I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr., mark my words, will win the MVP this season. Great player.
Yeah.
So after today, he's hitting .317. He's got 5 home runs, 10 RBIs.
Vlad.
He's amazing, dude.
He is.
And just a little add-on, in my new MLB The Show 22 franchise mode, he just won MVP for us. Just shout out Vlad. Do you have the game yet?
Yep.
What do you think?
I've only played like a little bit, but it's
Same.
It's pretty good.
Meh.
It's MLB.
It's kind of the same. Like, it's still fun.
I don't know how you change MLB, really.
Well, I think there's some things like game mode wise that you can expand on. It's still fun.
I missed the interviews and Road to the Show.
I forgot about that.
Because they had them not that long ago, and then they got rid of them last year.
That's the thing that I think they missed on last season was they took out some of the stuff when they moved on to next gen. And not saying it's bad, but like I think you could do better.
Yeah.
It's still fun. To get back to the Jays, who's their second baseman? Espinal?
Biggio.
Biggio.
I prefer Espinal.
Biggio / Espinal for second base. Espinal, I know you're not going to get a lot of hits. No,
I
you're
really-
gonna get hits, but you're not going to get. He's not one of your star hitters.
No, I really like Santiago though.
A few years ago, I thought he was a nobody, and now he's turned himself into a really solid contact fielder.
Yeah.
You know who he reminds me of? Your favorite, Ryan Goins.
Maybe that's why I like him.
You gonna get an Espinal jersey?
Maybe.
I still can't believe you have a Goins jersey.
Why? I was in Toronto and it was right there staring at me. They were full.
There's a reason it was full.
I know.
To be fair, I can't really talk shit because I have a Kevin Pillar jersey.
Why do you hate me so much? Because I have a Goins
I don't
jersey.
hate you. I just think.
Like, he was a solid player.
Played like 3 years.
Yeah, and in those years he was solid. With the Jays. But even pitched.
I'm
He
not
got the dub.
I'm not hating on the Goins jersey. I'm
Hating on me.
not hating on you. I'm saying jersey foul wise. That's like if I were to get a Julian Merriweather jersey. It's a pretty good player. Probably not jersey worthy.
That's kind of mean. People could get a jersey of whoever they want.
What if I'm long distance family of the Goins? What if I'm a Goins family member? You gonna make fun of me for that? You know what's a big jersey foul is families of players who have like brothers and they do the split jersey.
Chuck.
I hate those. Those are so stupid. Half Ottawa, half Calgary combined.
I'm gonna get one.
For who?
Brady be like,
No one knows. That the Brady Sully, nobody knows.
well, search it up.
I think
Mitch Marner did a bad impression the other day. Brady's just better. Brady's also funnier because he's like,
he makes a lot of funny faces.
I know.
On the ice.
Brady, when he's getting the helmet screwed on, he
Yeah, his mouth. Have you seen the
Brady.
one of him in the penalty box and he's like spread out?
Oh, yeah,
and his
he's
mouth is wide open. He's like,
yeah, that one's so funny.
I also I saw this on Twitter the other day, and it was of when Brady Tkachuk got his hand bit by Brendan Lemieux, and just some of the freeze frames of his face, and you could just his fingers bleed, and he's just
Brady.
Brady.
I like Brady.
Him and Matthew are completely different players.
Yeah.
Like not to say Matt Tkachuk's a dick, but you can kind of get the vibes that like Brady's the sweet brother. Not saying that like Matt's a bad guy.
I don't think like Matthew Tkachuk doesn't lose his temper nearly as much as he used to. He hasn't had a fight this year. He hasn't had one fight this year.
That's interesting.
He had like multiple last year, but not one this year.
He even slammed the door bench after Muzz flipped a puck at him.
He had a bad temper last year. Like that's something that he really improved on.
He kind of was
he was pissy.
a piss baby.
Yeah. He hasn't been this year though. Like he still gets in there and starts the scrums, but
And he's succeeding.
yeah.
We are almost an hour in, and one thing I really want to get to is the Matt Barzal fine.
That was stupid.
What do you think?
That was stupid.
Why?
Buddy just grabbed him for like 5 seconds. And he gets fined. Out of anything that happens, that's what someone's going to get fined for.
Did you listen to the show I did earlier this week?
No, sorry. I probably should have.
You don't need to.
Sorry.
No, you don't. No,
I probably should have because I had time.
this isn't me being like,
He's like, you dick.
I'm just asking so to know what I need to say, because you think I'm sitting up for this one. You think
Here we go.
this is soft, right? You said it was soft in our
Yes.
group chat. Why?
He barely touched him.
I agree with you there. He barely touched him, But the point I made in I think it was Tuesday. I don't fucking remember.
Oh, fucking remember.
The point I made on Tuesday was that you can't interfere with play when you're not one of the 5 on the ice. And
Give him a penalty. Don't give him a fine.
I think you need to make it a fine, because if it's just a penalty, I think it's easier to rationalize in a player's mind that it's less of a consequence, right? It already is a penalty. It's a 10-game suspension if you come off the bench, fighting wise. I look back at before the 2013-14 Leafs, right after they lost to Boston in Game 7 of the first round.
Oh, shit.
In 2013, they went out that summer and they signed. Do you remember? Played for the New Jersey Devils. He's a right winger, shoots right. His name
Wait.
He was traded for Nathan Horton a long time ago.
Oh, Joey Anderson?
No.
Well, that was the first one that came to mind.
He was traded for. They were signed.
Oh, wait, they signed him?
Yes.
What position?
Right wing.
Who does he play for now?
He doesn't. Last team he technically was on was the Vegas Golden Knights. And before that, he played for the Columbus Blue Jackets, then the Toronto Maple Leafs, then New Jersey, and I think that's where he started. He's a bad player. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't remember.
I was just going to say, I have absolutely no idea. Oh, David Clarkson?
David Clarkson.
Yes, okay. I got it last second.
Last David Clarkson.
I was like, who the heck is he talking about?
And I don't expect you to remember this because, A, you're not a Leaf fan. B, this happened in 2013-14. David Clarkson got suspended 10 games before he ever played a regular season game for the Toronto Maple Leafs because he came off the bench to fight John Scott in a preseason game. I bet you've seen the clip of Toronto Buffalo and Scott's fucking with Kessel, and it's just when Phil Kessel just starts slashing him.
Yep.
That's that play, and Clarkson comes off to fight him. And
Phil.
They suspended him 10 games because it's an automatic suspension if you come off the bench. And I'm not comparing David Clarkson fighting John Scott to
Matt Barzal.
One's way more dangerous, and it's the Barzal one. Kidding. No.
Yeah, I was confused for a second.
What if that was actually my point? Was to
You're like, Matt Barzal's a dirty player.
Matt Barzal's a dirty player, and he should have been suspended. I don't think he should have been suspended, but I think
he shouldn't have been suspended.
I think
my gosh.
I think you need to continue to set a precedent that you can't interfere with players while.
He just wanted to hold on to Mitch.
I thought it was funny.
His facial.
I thought it was funny. And you also, I think he would have got just a warning if he hadn't been fined before. He got fined last year for cross-checking.
Yeah, that's another, like, what can he have just gotten a warning? But I guess if he's been fined.
I think he would have. I was looking at this a few days ago when I was prepping, and I think he would have got a warning if he didn't get fined for cross-checking Jan Ruda last season. 2,500. No. He was $5,000. He got suspended, fined last year. So he actually got less than what he got fined last year.
At least that's good.
I think he got
good.
2,500. I think he should have been fined, not because it was dirty and not because it was a bad play, because it's a nothing thing. It's fun and it's all fun and games. But I think I don't give the NHL players safety a lot of props. I think they do a horrible job, and I think George Peros, who runs it, I think George Peros is not suited to. I don't think you should have a former NHL enforcer be the head of player safety.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
The guy who, a player who didn't care for player safeties on the ice is supposed to judge suspensions and shit like that. I think it's a horrible person to have run it. But I think this is the one time I'll give player safety Golf clap. Because I think, even though it wasn't dirty, and I think you need to set some sort of precedent that you can't justify interfering with a player when they're not in the play, right? Because
yes, sir.
even though, sorry, yes, sir, even though it wasn't dangerous, it could be dangerous. Not him tugging him, other things.
Yes, if you would have whacked him across the face with a stick, that's a little different than just a little jersey tug.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
But I still think you have to make it. I think the NHL player safety should always be a no nonsense thing. Like, I don't know why one day someone gets suspended for cross checking someone in the face, but then the other time they don't even review it. I'm specifically talking about the time. I don't remember his fucking name, but it was some shitty player cross-checked Michael Bunting in the head, and they didn't even look at it after they suspended Matthews. And I'm not arguing that Matthews shouldn't have been suspended, because that was a dirty play and he should have been suspended.
That was a dangerous cross-check.
But I don't know how you don't at least look at it, and then a couple weeks later, Evgeny Malkin does it, and then they look at that one. It's just inconsistent. So I don't give NHL player safety a lot of props in the first place. But
yeah.
Good on you for, in my opinion, doing the good thing the one time.
Yeah.
They did one. Good on them. Usually they don't do anything. So I'll give them a solid good on them. Carey Price returned.
Good for him.
Yeah, I know. He missed the whole year. I think he's only played one game. Two.
Yeah, and first game back, buddy gets no goal support.
It's
Not even one.
Montreal. Who's gonna score? Mike Pizzetta.
Goal Caulfield.
He's been really good.
Yeah. I still don't like him.
I don't like him. I think he's great.
Yeah.
I just don't. Why don't you like him?
Because he's Cole. It's one of those guys I look at and I don't like you. I know
what you mean.
I don't dislike him as much as I used to.
He's
actually a pretty good player now.
It was just something about Cole Caulfield when he came in, probably because Montreal's a division rival, but I remember I looked at him and I was like, fuck that guy.
Fuck yeah, I didn't say fuck that guy, but
sometimes I just look at players and they look mean. I used to think John Tavares looked mean, and then he became a Leaf, and
hey guys.
What?
When Steve does the impression, he's like, hey guys.
Hey guys. I can't do it, John Tavares.
I can't either.
I saw a picture on Twitter of a John Tavares cereal the other day.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But John Tavares just looked mean to me when I was younger, and then he became a Leaf, and he seems like the nicest guy now that I see. Now that his every move is analyzed on Leafs Twitter, like John Tavares was one of those guys. Joey Votto is another guy that just looks mean to me.
Yeah, I see what you mean there.
Have you seen, I don't remember when this was from, it's a Joey Votto clip, and it's the fans are chirping him, and then he's like, hey, Joey, and he's like, what? And he's like, I remember when you used to be good, and he's like, what? And he's like, I remember when you used to be good, and then Joey goes, I remember when you used to be thin.
Joey!
And he's like on the on deck circles, I remember when you used to be thin. And then the fan did not have a good comeback. I think his comeback was something along the lines of probably around the same time you were good. Like he just doubled down.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to chirp Joey Votto.
Have you seen that Jose Bautista chirp?
No.
And he's talking about his checkbook. The fans, he's got some shit in his back pocket. I don't remember the full quote, but the fan was like, is that your fucking checkbook back there? And then Jose said something along the lines of, it was like a money roast, and it was a pretty good one. I don't remember.
I still remember the one time a fan was chanting overrated to Bryce Harper
Then
when he was up,
homered?
and then he hit a grand slam, I'm pretty sure. And when he hit the ball, he bat flipped and he turned and like looked at the fan, and it just went dead silent.
Bryce Harper's another one of those guys who looks mean.
Yeah, Bryce Harper does look really mean.
I don't know. He plays in Philly. Like everyone in Philly's a little mean. I don't know. I have no idea. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I sometimes I just forget, okay?
Yeah.
The John Tavares did look mean that one time. Yeah, the Carey Price return. That's where that came from.
We started talking about Bryce Harper because of Carey Price.
Yeah, we were talking about how Carey Price returned. They had no goal support, and we started talking about players who look mean. Like,
Doesn't make sense.
we are going to the Oil Kings game, and is there anything else you want to chat about before we go? Because we got to make it for Warmies. Freaking Warmies.
Sad news about Mike Bossy, obviously.
Of course. It is something we should mention. Rest in peace, Mike Bossy. He's too
Great
young.
goal scorer.
One of the best ever.
Yeah.
He's part of those amazing Islander teams. Went head-to-head with Gretzky.
I think him, Ovi, and Gretzky have had the most 50-goal seasons. I think they're all at 8.
And that's crazy because of how long Mike Bossy played.
Yeah.
Do you know how short his career was?
Wasn't it only like 10 years?
It was, I got it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10, yeah.
10 years.
Holy crap.
Over 1,100 points. Almost 600 goals. Here's his goal totals. His rookie season, 53. Next year, 69. Nice. 51, 68, 64, 60, 51, 58, 61. Measly 38 in 63 games. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
He scored a lot of goals. Holy
did.
shit. In the playoffs, 10 games played, 6 goals, 16, 12 goals, 18 games played, 17. He was almost a goal per game for 3 years.
Wow. That's insane.
Awards, Calder, Conn Smythe, Lady Bing. It's a great player.
Yeah.
And I don't remember why he stopped playing. Was it cancer?
I'm not sure. I know he had cancer. Like, I think that's why he passed away.
I'm pretty sure that's why. I don't remember why he stopped playing. I know Mario Lemieux had cancer and then he
Yeah.
came back.
Brian Boyle.
Brian Boyle.
Brian
Oscar
Boyle's
Lindblom.
not Mario Lemieux, but still. Plays for the Penguins.
Plays for the Penguins. And to talk about the level back then, I think Brian Boyle would be a pretty damn good player if he played back then.
Yeah.
Like, not saying Brian Boyle is bad, but the skill level is completely different. And
Yeah.
that's why I think we should have era-adjusted stats, because Wayne Gretzky couldn't raise the puck.
And a goalie couldn't stop a beach ball back then.
Every game would be
No
like
offense.
9-8.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. And now Andrei Vasilevsky he looks like the Michelin Man. That's how big his
Andre.
equipment is. But it's right now for us, it's almost 5:40. So we got to get to the game soon. One person we want to shout out before we go. You want to take the reins on this one?
Yeah, sure. Shout out to my old friend Dylan. I've only seen you like once or twice since grade 6, but I'm pretty sure you listen to every episode, and
Big fan.
yeah, we want to have you on. Hopefully,
Shout out Dylan. I've never met him before. I think it's really cool that we have legitimate fans, right?
well, at least one.
And Mucky.
Yeah, but
Two?
Mucky, I guess, yeah.
He listens to every episode.
Yeah. But anyway, Dylan, we want to have you on sometime soon.
So shout out Dylan. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that we have people who actually listen. It makes the stuff that we make like this mean more, at least to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, people are actually going to listen to this and maybe they'll enjoy it.
Well, I hope they do.
Fingers crossed. But I think it's a perfect time to wrap. Ask this every time. You want to plug anything?
No, I don't need to plug anything.
What if someone,
I got Twitter.
What if someone is listening and episode 28 is their first episode? How are they going to know where to get you?
Go to Misyk and Maat Sports Talk on Instagram. There you'll find me.
Always finding loopholes. Like Cody said, follow our Instagram and our TikTok, Misyk and Maat Sports Talk. You can... What?
Nothing.
Make you
Our
giggle. when I said
TikTok.
TikTok.
TikTok, Louis, it's like,
Yeah, Arizona
It's
posts a
like,
couple
yep,
funny
the ties.
TikToks. Follow me on Instagram, Ethan Matt, ETHANMAAT. My Twitter's the exact same. I tweet a bunch, so follow me.
buddy
Cody's got Twitter
tweets
too.
like every 2 minutes.
I love Twitter. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back hopefully next week.
Yeah. It's like Jack Eichel just doing cardio.